The culture of nomikais in Japanese companies is shifting and changing to a different side of maybe not going out and drinking at all. We're going to be talking about this topic, so come join us and hey, improve your English. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of... ¿Cómo se Welcome you to another place where you can just improve your English by hanging out with us, becoming more comfortable with English, because the more comfortable you are with listening to English, the more comfortable you are around English, that means you will become a better speaker because you're more relaxed. Relax, chill out. Okay? Chill.
Mellow.
And this is something you can do hopefully by listening to a lot of our shows. So, hey, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Let's talk about nomikais. Adam, this is
Yes.
something that in our, collective 20 almost years of living in Japan, definitely 20, we've had our fair share of going to nomikais, going to these places of nomication, connecting, communicating with each other, understanding each other maybe a little more by going out and drinking with each other. This is maybe something that can be similarly found in Japan's culture when you're looking at skinship by going to the bathhouse, going to onsen with friends. After that, you feel a little closer because you've seen each other in your birthday suits, This is another one that's a part of the culture and has been changing as of recently. Soda News 24 made a pretty cool article that it was highlighting the fact that many people do not prefer or they don't like to go out to nomikais for their companies. There was a survey done in this article talking to 11,000 people, and about 54% were saying that they don't care for nomikais anymore. That's half, everyone.
Yeah.
So, Adam, what do you think about this? Have you had any ideas of how it's been changing?
I think from what I understood from before, like hearing news reports, and I think one of the big things is that a lot of the younger generation, they prefer time to spend with their friends, and a lot of young people, they wanted to not have so much overtime, not stay at work so long. They want to, finish their workday and go and spend their time with their friends or at home doing hobbies and whatnot. So going to these nomikais where they have to drink, they not forced to drink, but it's kind of like a requirement. It's part of the game.
Right.
And they might not even like drinking, or they might feel that they don't want to drink, or they might not just want to spend less time with their coworkers. People with new families, they want to go home and spend time with their families. It's becoming more focused on family and personal time rather than the company is my life.
Yeah.
That idea is
Right.
fading a little bit more and more, I think.
Yes. That shift is happening from this older style of thinking, of work mentality, of being loyal to a company, working for one company, just staying there until you retire, spending all of your waking hours at the company, sacrificing family time to maybe focus on making money on your salary. Maybe it's a connection of, or maybe it's a combination of loyalty to the company, passion for the work, as well as just being like, well, we all have to make money to survive. That's what we've been taught forever. So this is what I need to do. It's just shogunai. This is what everybody does. So this is what we do. And now, like you mentioning, it's the shift within the younger generation. Of course, maybe there's a few who are in the elderly generation that feel the same way.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the younger generation who are speaking up a little more and explaining their personal, their own feelings, which is a big thing that in Japan is not too highly looked upon. You got to stay on the same level as everyone. do what
Right.
everyone else is doing. So you go to the nomikai, everyone's drinking. Okay, you got to drink. That's why, like you're mentioning, you feel like you have to drink,
Right. Right.
even though maybe
And
you don't want to.
and I think another thing is that like some companies pay for the nomikais, but
Oh,
others they might not. Like if you have
ooh.
a department nomikai, that's not the whole company,
Oh,
or
okay.
the employee would have to pay for that by themselves, and it's split amongst their group members. I don't know much about the economy, but I think
Mm.
like right now is not a great time for a lot of people,
Yeah, dude.
and salaries are pretty low.
Yep, yep. Dude, the price of rice
So
just went up like 1,000 yen. It's adding
yeah,
up. And it's just that has changed with the whole culture. I feel like, that
right,
I'm guessing. I haven't done so much research, so everyone,
yeah.
you can let me know in the comments down below if you were someone who was working throughout the economic bubble in Japan in
Oh
the
yes,
80s,
yeah,
because I feel like a lot of companies were thriving. They were being
yes,
very successful. There was new
yeah.
companies popping up everywhere. And I'm guessing this is also where possibly this nomikai started to become a stronger thing in companies,
Hmm.
if they were big companies or smaller companies, because a
Yeah,
lot of people had money.
yeah,
And
yeah,
maybe even the aspect of having bucho always pay for everybody, right? That's another
yeah.
part of like the culture, working, drinking culture in Japan, where you would go out. It's like, yeah, you have to go out, but it's always the higher up who
Right.
pays.
For everything.
Gocho suru. There you so
ごちそうする。お疲れ様です。
yeah.
皆さん。
Right, right,
Right.
right. So then that would have the younger people who are starting in the company maybe feel like, okay, like, yeah, I went out, we were able
Right.
to have drinks and stuff, but I didn't have to pay maybe full price, or I didn't have to pay anything.
Anything,
But
yeah.
now economy is changing, has changed. The work life has changed. The
Mm.
people are changing as
Are
well.
changing, yeah.
And we're moving towards a different type of future. So from this article, it highlights that fact that, yeah, this old older culture of nomikais, drinking, parties that are connected with your company
Mhm.
are, yeah, kind of dying down. But
Yeah.
Adam, next question is, from all the nomikais that you went to
Yeah.
in your past company and all the work you've done in Japan, what were the good points of these nomikas?
For my experience, it was always fun because it is work, but it isn't work, and
Mm.
it is work because you're with your coworkers, but it isn't work because you're, like, kinda just enjoying being in each other's presence in outside of work, which I liked. I got to just kinda hang out with people that on a regular day basis, we don't really hang out that
Yeah.
much, you know? And there's a few, coworkers that we did hang out with a lot of the time, but the rest of them it's the opposite where after a certain time, they clock out, they stay for the overtime. I
Mhm.
clock out. So
Mhm.
you get to know them a little bit more, like what they're like with a little
Yeah.
alcohol in the system,
Yes.
which is different. It's night and day, and that's always fun too. And then there's always something after, like Nijikai, Sanjikai,
Mm.
Gojikai, Rokujikai,
Oh,
and
man, party.
Nanajikai
Yeah.
party. So, I used to go to the Nijikai sometimes,
Yep.
and it gets smaller and you get more personal. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, go to karaoke. Those kind of things are good memories for me about my life in Japan.
I'm on the same page
Yeah.
because that is one place where I was able to really connect more with people in Japan. In my position, coming from another country, coming to
Mhm.
Japan, the level of Japanese that I had was really low. So
Yeah.
being able to just speak to people on the street, it was even more difficult. Striking up a conversation, learning more about the Japanese culture by talking to people
Yeah.
can be a little difficult. But then here's these nomikais after working hours, because when you're in the company working, everyone's
Yeah.
focused on getting the work done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was for me a great chance to, one, have a good time and, you know,
Let loose.
let loose a little bit,
Yeah.
get to know the people around me at a
Right.
deeper level of
Right.
understanding like who they are. One of my some of my favorite memories were like learning about like an older coworker who is like a lot older than me, but like he saw Van Halen in '86 when they came to Japan. I was like, "Whoa, Van Halen, man, yeah." I was like, because I'm a fan of that music, and to have that connection, like we never talked about. He's always dressed up in a suit. I had no idea. He plays guitar, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then it was because of this time, this nomikai. Maybe also he had a little alcohol in his system, more open to try to communicate in broken English, broken Japanese as well.
Yeah.
So
The nominication.
for me, I think it was such a learning perspective, learning about Japanese people, learning about the culture,
Right.
and just having some like fun memories. Because I feel like if I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have even like gone to karaoke. I've got most of the karaoke visits I've had were with people
Yeah.
I worked with.
Yeah.
Yep. If I came to Japan and there was no nomikais, I would have a different outlook on Japan, I feel, and the people.
And just work.
It was,
If you were just in the office.
I was just in the office. It was definitely a big door into the Japanese, understanding Japanese culture more.
Totally. I agree.
With all that said, many of the youth in Japan, as they're getting older, growing into the workforce, it shows from these articles and from a lot of people's voices that they don't like this. They don't want to be forced into this, but it's something that I feel has a specialness to it that shouldn't be gone completely, maybe adjusted so people don't feel like they have to. It shouldn't be like a yaranai to ikenai, like mandatory thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to drink. Don't be forced into anything. Nobody likes that. But a place where people can go and learn about each other to hopefully have a stronger connection, I feel could also add to a stronger company and a stronger team.
I think another thing aside from the kaishas, nomikais, people do still have nomikais with their friends.
Yeah.
'Cause I had many with my friends, and they call me out and say like, okay, let's have this friendship bonen kai. So I think it still happens.
Yeah.
But amongst the company, that's where the hesitation.
Yeah. Let us know what you all think about this topic. And hey, if you want to learn a little bit more or try to see what the words are that are flashing on the screen as you're watching this video, check out these videos right here, an explanation as well as some of the tango lists.
We'll see you on the next
step.